year. So her body could have been totally frozen. It had just defrosted, so to speak. And that's why she may have appeared so lifelike. Why she was turned over, we really don't know. Perhaps her body was jostled when they took the coffin out. But whatever the reason, the men, and there were 12 men here, friends and farmhands, parishioners, they were convinced they had found their undead. The undead was here. They were looking at the undead. Next step is to disrupt the body. Now, Dr. Metcalf did examine Mercy Lena's body. He said that there is nothing, to him there was nothing unusual about her state of preservation. It was totally natural since she'd been buried in the 2 coldest months of the year. He did perform the autopsy here. Now, the autopsy at the time, post-mortem today, of course, is a Y-shaped, starts at the shoulders, the chest area, goes down to the midsection. During the 19th century, it was the opposite. It was an upside-down Y, so it would begin at the midsection and then go up. Now, you think of the indignity of doing this to her body, and these were 12 men. They were fellow parishioners who would have known Mercy Brown from church during life. And it's fortunate that Mercy knew nothing of this. This was all after her death. All of it was post-mortem, and she knew nothing of the indignity her body would be subjected to. But here's this young 19-year-old woman. Her body is laid naked, and her organs are extracted from her body. Now, there was a little bit of blood in her heart and a little bit of blood in her liver. When Dr. Metcalf handled these organs, some blood did drip out. Again, these organs may have just defrosted after being frozen solid. And again, Harold Metcalf said there was nothing unusual about this. However, the people were convinced now they had their vampire, they had their undead. So, the ritual after Dr. Metcalf left was to be performed. It was on a nearby rock. Now, by tradition, there's a rock over here. It is said that this is where Mercy Lena's heart and liver were burned. We don't know for sure. It could have been over by the stone wall, but by tradition, it's this rock simply because it's nearby her grave. So her heart and liver were apparently burned, reduced to ashes. They saved the ashes, mixed the ashes with herbs, and gave it like a concoction for her brother Edwin, who was very, very sick, gave it to him to drink. Now, I know that sounds very bizarre, barbaric by today's standards, but they had the right idea when you think of it. Inoculation. They were trying to give him a bit of the disease, the curse, whatever they called it, and trying to immunize him from the same fate that his mother and his sisters had endured. And hopefully that would cure him. Unfortunately, it did not. He died less than 2 months later on May 2nd, 1892. But since there were no more immediate deaths in the family, they figured they'd done the right thing. Mercy was laid to rest in her burial spot, and supposedly that was the end of the story. Now, Mercy had 2 younger sisters, Myra and Hattie, and it was years later that, of course, one of them, Myra, died at a very young age. She's not buried here, but she died at a young age. She had just been married. She was only 18 years old, and she was laid to rest in another county. Hattie took care of her father. Now, shortly after these deaths, George Brown sold his horse farm and went to live with his daughter Hattie. And Hattie lived to quite a ripe age. She died in 1954. George Brown, now the town records say that around the turn of the century, George Brown had gone to live with her and her family. So, but he is buried here. He died, lived to be 80 years old. He lived to a ripe old age, and buried here in the Exeter Cemetery. That's the basic story. Now, since then, there have been numerous reports of paranormal activity happening in this cemetery. Some, I believe, some can be substantiated, some are just legends, but there was a relative at the time, about the 1920s, who came with the old Model T in here, and he saw this bright squinted it in the nighttime. This orb, this glowing orb right by the graves here. And he and his, I believe it was his cousin, they hightailed it out of here. And, so that's his testimony. People have supposedly seen the body of a young woman, an apparition, walking around the cemetery grounds, prowling around. I don't know how much that could be substantiated. I do know that a friend of mine, a former co-worker, her daughters came here at night, and one of the daughters was driving. Suddenly her car locks, or the doors just locked automatically, and she couldn't get out. She started to panic. She never came here again. That was enough to frighten her. But every once in a while things do happen. It's been reported that when there is a feeling of oppression, that you say the Lord's Prayer and it lifts. I've actually experienced that. I was with that same co-worker. She started to feel very, very oppressed. My wife Sandra was with us. She thought that Sandra had tapped her on the shoulder. She looked around, my wife's over there. It was several feet away from her, so we couldn't have met her. She got very scared, but I did say the Lord's Prayer in front of Mercy's grave. There was a feeling of peace. So that does seem to be substantiated somewhat. I don't think personally that it is Mercy Brown. I think it is negative energy. Like so many of these cemeteries that have legends around them, cults have come in, people have tried to call up spirits. So even though this is consecrated ground, it's holy ground, some people do bring in negative energy, and I think that's what affects places like this, why you do get some legitimate paranormal activity.
I gotta tell you, when I was here before, I think the very last time, Mercy wouldn't communicate with anyone else but me. And I was the only one she would communicate with. And I would ask her a question, the K2 meter would light up. When another guy used the K2 meter, nothing happened. He says, why is it she only talks to you? I says, I don't know. Maybe it's because, my aura, who I am, and I seem to relate to her a little bit.
Maybe you're a non-threatening personality
Yeah,
too.
yeah. Because she has no problem speaking to me. No problem. I bet you if I walked through there right now with my K2 meter, I'll get a response.
Really?
Yeah. Same thing over there.
Now, I have known about Mercy Brown and the stories for so long. What I like to do, it's kind of a thing that I like to do when I get intensely interested by somebody who lived before. I try to recreate them. Yeah. In my mind, I try to recreate them. I have an image of her in my mind. Doesn't mean that's what she looked like.
Yeah.
But there's not much to go on what she actually looked like and what she was like as a person, because she was a real person.
Yeah.
Obviously. And again, it's fortunate that in her lifetime she knew nothing of this.
Yeah.
She knew nothing of that this folklore superstition was going to be utilized here. Yeah. And in fact, it did get printed in the local Gazette.
Yeah.
And then, as you know, it got leaked to the Providence Journal, and horrid superstition tested in Exeter. And people were appalled that this late date of 1892, they were here, obviously, digging up, looking for vampires for the
time during the Borden murders, 1892.
Yes, yeah, the same year, 1892. The Borden murders took place August 4th, 1892. And of course, this was in March 1892, the same year. Interesting time to live in New England.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it?
Yes. But even though it was almost on the cusp of the 20th century, this was very, very rural. People were still very much living in the 19th century here. They were simple farm folk, hard living, but life could be harsh at times. There was no cure for these childhood diseases. Of course, George and Mary Eliza had 5 children. Sometimes families were much more numerous. They would have multiple children simply because of the child mortality rate. They didn't have inoculations that we do, unfortunately. But
you get a feeling somebody's sitting next to me over there.
Really?
Weird. I get that when I go to cemeteries. I feel things around me.
Yes.
Even though I can't see them, I feel them.
I only tend to get that feeling when we're talking about the deceased, starting to discuss them.
Oh, even if I wasn't talking about it, I mean, when I first came here, it was like blank, nothing. And then after being here for a few minutes, I started feeling something. I can't place what it was.
Well, maybe you're a magnet.
Yeah.
spirit
I think
magnet.
I am. I think
Yeah.
I am because
Some people.
they always seem to be attracted to me.
Mhm.
I don't know why. I guess I am a paranormal magnet.
Maybe that's something what brought you into the paranormal investigation field in the first place.
All my life I've been dealing with that stuff. I mean, you know, in houses I lived in, and,
Yes.
being out in the woods, seeing a white figure walk through the woods and there's nobody there. And my mother used to say, "Oh, your imagination's running away with you again." So I accepted that, but it still kept happening. So,
Yes. Now, some facts about her. Unfortunately, very little is said of her lifetime
yeah.
from contemporary reports. There's folklore, there's legends that you know, she was wandering around cemeteries during her lifetime. That's all folklore. That's not history. But it's understandable these things. People do create folklore. We know that she
came back out again.
Yes, yeah.
Mm.
New England weather.
Yeah.
We know that she did have some kind of popularity because her obituary mentions that she had friends.
Yeah.
And she did not go by the name Mercy, as you know,
No,
in
she
her
went
lifetime.
by her middle name.
Her middle name, Lena, exactly. I think even in the late 1800s, for a young farm girl, maybe the name Mercy was a little outdated.
Yeah.
Prior to her illness, she was probably very, very physically fit young woman. Used to hard work on the farm. Since her mother had passed, she had to take care of her two younger sisters, of course, too. And there was a photograph no longer in existence of her brother Edwin. He was described as a strapping young fellow, very robust. So we assume she may have been robust prior to her illness, used to hard work and tending horses. And since her obituary says, known to Lena as by her friends, well, that says that she did enjoy some popularity.
Yeah.
And who knows, you can try to fill in the blanks. She may have once or twice gone to Rocky Point Amusement Park and the Shore Dinner Hall at the time. That was open at the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's what young
That was
people
a
did in
good
the
park
area.
for years up until they closed in the what, mid-80s?
Yeah,
90s?
early 1990s when it was
Yeah.
completely closed. Because now it's a nice
Shall
walking
we
path.
get on our gear and
Sure, we
Okay.
will. But about her physical appearance, there are no contemporary illustrations or photographs of her, unfortunately.
you like to use this one?
Thank you very much.
It's very sensitive, by the way.
Yeah.
We use it at the Liz Gordon house.
Mm-hmm.
Picks up all kinds of
Oh,
stuff.
good. I think she may have been about.
Camera close.
Is that?
Make sure you get us. Okay, what me and Keith is gonna do, we're gonna try to communicate. Mercy usually has no problem communicating with me whatsoever. We develop some kind of friendship. She hasn't seen me in a couple of years. But Mercy, I'm here. I'm back. It's me, Gary, and wow. Did I just pick up something?
Well, I was just actually testing it. I
Oh.
was testing it.
And me and my friend Keith would like to speak to you, if it's okay. I'm sure you have no problem with that. Okay, I'm gonna try to speak to you through the ghost. This is called a spirit box. Mercy, and this you can talk to me through this contraction. Mercy, are you here?
I've established my baseline. No readings at this point.
No.
Lost it.
I haven't got anything.
It's interesting to note that people traditionally leave all sorts of stuffed animals, trinkets for her, coins on the headstone.
Yeah, I used to put my card there actually.
Oh, good.
I guess
you.
you guys-
Calling
In
card.
case you need to call you.
And even jewelry.
I'd like to speak to Mercy Brown. Mercy Lena Brown, are you there? Mercy? speak to me? Who's here with us right now? Mercy, can you make the light up? Can you make the light up on this gray thing?
Now, since Miss Brown went by her middle name, I wonder if you get any different results if you...
Yeah, want me to try that?
Yes, give that a try.
Lena, this is your friend Gary. I came to visit you. I know it's been a while, but I'd like to know if you'd like to speak to me and if you have anything you'd like to say. Can you let me know you're here? Can you make the light up? Say something to the box? Wait. You heard that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Said wait. Can't wait. I just speak to Lena Brown.
It's a very pretty name.
Mercy Lena Brown, are you here? She's getting mail.
Yeah.
She's getting the mail reports. What I want, I'd like to speak to Mercy Lena Brown. Okay, you're not gonna speak over here? Okay, I've gotta go by a tomb, Lena, and we're gonna try to speak to you over there, because usually that's the best place you communicate, is by the tomb. Okay, I'll be back in a little bit, okay? Give me a couple of minutes. Right out.
Somebody tore it right out.
Look at that. This is act of vandalism. This shouldn't be happening. This is wrong. This is disrespect.
Well,
Now-
the gate's usually closed.
Yeah. I can close it. I
This
ain't
is
gonna
what
attempt
makes it more difficult, Gary, for investigators like us.
Yeah.
We're interested in historic detail and want to see what energy might be here. This is what introduces negative energy to these cemeteries. So it is senseless act of vandalism. Now, of course, there's a legend that if you knock on the door, someone's going to knock back. And of course, teenagers try that and everything, but now it's sealed up, so that can't be. But somebody was desperate enough to do that.
Maybe they wanted to break in there.
Yes. And found that their efforts were thwarted.
I wonder what Mercy has to say about this.
The tomb used to be open and they closed it with the cinder blocks.
Yes, it used to be open because people kept prying the door open.
Let me try to get some EVPs. today is June 20.
Third.
What is it?
Third.
22nd?
Third.
23rd, 2017. I'm at the Mercy Ground location in Exeter, Rhode Island, at the Chestnut Cemetery. I'm here with Keith Johnson. We're sitting behind, actually sitting right in front of the tomb. The door seems to be pried open. A little bit of vandalism. And what I like to do now is I'm going to begin. Mercy. Lena. This is Gary. I'm over by your tomb now. Would you like to say something? Are you speaking to this little contraction I'm holding in my hand? How do you feel about us being here? Do you remember me? You make this light up? I'm getting any spikes this time. I used to get loads of spikes. Did you tell me your name?
Established my base. There was no reaction on the gas mask.
No, it's like dead cell. Okay, I'm gonna shut this off and put this radio on, okay? So you can talk to me through this. Okay, thank you.
I think this is more vandalism, Gary. Unfortunately.
Oh.
Okay, we're gonna play this back, see if we've gotten anything. Come closer, please. We're gonna play this back to see if we've gotten anything. I can turn it on. And okay. Sound like Ed, don't I?
Yeah, you do.
There's something moving around.
Is that the wind or is it actually shuffling?
Sound like shuffling. No, I hear the wind. Birds.
What was that? I heard some noise right there.
Huh?
I heard some noise right there.
You did too?
Yeah.
There's a bird.
Yes, but after the birds.
Established my base. There was no reaction on it. So it's not a dead cell. Okay, I'm gonna shut this off and put
sure was something to think about. Oh.
Yeah, there was some sound in between there.
Yeah,
Kind of like a horse sound or something.
yeah. We're gonna try this now over here, this box, spirit box. And hopefully we'll get something here. For some reason, she doesn't want to. Oh my gosh, wait a second. Oh, okay. For some reason, she doesn't want to speak to me. Sorry, I dropped that. Heard that? Screaming. Who's here? Who am I speaking to? Is this Selena? Can you say that again? Is Mercy Lena Brown? How do you feel about your door being vandalized? Are you upset about that? Say something like hello? Just say hello? Say my name. What's my name? Do you know Keith? Can you say hello to Keith? Say hello to Keith. You heard it, right?
That was neat. Yeah.
Clear as day. Anything else you'd like to say? How do you feel about us being here? Is it okay we're here? You want us to leave or stay? Hey, you guys. I heard that. But what I really want to do is I want to speak to Mercy Lena Brown. Is she there? Who is this? Who am I speaking to? My name. Is someone's name? What's your name?
Gary, heads up, I got 5 minutes left. Film.
Okay then, guess what? We're gonna go now. Pleasure talking to you. Have a good day. God bless. Well, we did get a reaction, just the wrong guy.
What's wrong,
We
guy?
tried to speak to Mercy and we ended up getting some guy. They didn't even give us his name, I don't think.
It's like we had an open line.
Yeah.
Like the old switchboards.
Yep. Hey, well, thank you for coming along for the ride with us. And this is part of our documentary, and I'm sure there'll be other stuff involved in this series as well. And this portion, this is the first half of our documentary, which will be filmed as we speak. It will, by the time you watch this, it should be already on YouTube on my show Ghost Chasers. But this is also going to be part of our documentary as well. Thank you for coming along for the ride. And Keith, would you like to say anything?
Well, thank you for watching. Interesting history in this cemetery. Things are still going on, obviously. Unfortunately, vandalism still hers, Mercy's headstone. That's why it's bolted in, so it can't be stolen again like it was in the early 1990s. But thank you for joining us. Gary, thank you for inviting me.
It's always a pleasure, and I'll see you at the Paracon, and I'll talk to you soon. How's that?
See you at the Ocean State Paracon.
That's right. That's June 15th and 16th, so don't forget to be there,
Yep,
guys.
see you in July.
Visit Keith, visit me, visit everybody. We've got a lot of good people coming there this year. So, talk to you soon.